Open-wheel race cars are perhaps the most technologically advanced land vehicles in the world. In fact, they have more in common with a jet fighter than with your mom's station wagon. It costs millions of dollars to race them, and if things go wrong, you don't just lose, you die. It's a fast-paced world, so let me give you a little advice. Don't blink, because you might miss everything. Kilometers per hour is fun. It's a lot of fun. But in the world of open-wheel racing, speed is only the beginning. In order to win, you gotta keep these cars running smoothly race after race. And in order to do that, you need advanced technology, a dedicated team, and tons of cash. To win on the track, you need both power and control. Today in Toronto, it's race qualifying for the Molson Grand Prix. It's a chance to test the car's configuration on the course. The drivers with the best lap times will secure the best starting positions for the big race on Sunday. Paul Tracy is driving for Forsyth Racing and would very much like to win in front of the hometown crowd.
To win races at this level, it's not easy, it's hard. Winning races at any level is hard. You obviously have to be brave and committed to what you do. You risk your life when you get out there, so it's not for the faint of heart. Somebody who's not fully committed to pushing the car to the limit. When you get to the top level, you have to be pushing yourself all the time.
The guy who keeps Tracy's car running as fast as possible is his chief engineer, Eric Zito.
Most people, they just have an impression that, well, there's these cars, the guys that work on them are grease monkeys. Up close, the thing that really strikes them the most is just the level of technology that's involved, the money that's involved. It's not just, a couple of mechanics wrenching on a car and the guy goes out there and drives it. There's just a massive team of people behind it and behind every driver to make sure that they're as fast as they can possibly be.
Each car is built to be controllable at speeds of up to 385 kilometers per hour. And just what makes these methanol monsters tick? Well, let's take a look inside and see. The body of the car is made from a very light yet very strong carbon fiber. There is a small cockpit for the driver with an intricate system of wings and airfoils surrounding it. Now, what makes the Champ car different from any other racer is that the engine works with a turbocharger. It works by pushing exhaust gases through a turbine that, in turn, runs an internal air compressor. This injects more air into the engine, and the extra oxygen results in a 40% increase in horsepower without adding weight to the car. In fact, turbochargers are available in street cars today because they were pioneered in open-wheel racing. Thank you, Zito.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest question I always get. So, do you play with the engine? That's what people at home typically will tune on or tweak to get performance. Ironically, that's the one thing we don't touch because, we basically we're on a lease deal, the engine gets handed to us, and that's it. It's a plug-and-play kind of situation.
We had a pretty good day today. Ended up fourth quickest. It's not exactly where we want, but had a good day, and I think our race car is in pretty good shape, so hopefully Sunday will go good for us. This is my hometown race, so this is the biggest race of the year for me, and we're looking forward to having a good race this weekend.
So where did this wonderful marriage of science and speed come from, you might ask? Well, I might answer, a lot of it can be traced back to Carl Fisher. In 1909, he built a 2.6-mile racetrack in Indianapolis, and folks came from all over to marvel at the brand new sport of auto racing. And a few short years later, he launched a little race he called the Indianapolis 500. This is not it, but this is. Donald Davidson is the chief historian for the Indy 500 Museum.
I was about 13, and I stumbled upon a thing called the Indianapolis 500, and I was motivated, drawn, obsessed with coming here. Originally, it was a year-round testing facility that the automobile companies could rent, and that occasionally they would have races. The intent was that it would be the manufacturers stripping down and putting into competition the automobiles that they sold. They opened, it was a disaster because the track surface was terrible, crushed rock and tar. And so after quite a bit of discussion about repaving the track with something, 3,200,000 paving bricks and mortar went down in the fall of '09, and the locals started calling the track the Brickyard.
Fisher wanted his races to attract large crowds for the entire day, so he set the distance at 500 miles, guaranteeing a full 8 hours of open-wheel excitement. On Memorial Day weekend in 1911, the first Indianapolis 500 was run, and it was an instant success.
This is the winning car from the very first Indianapolis 500 in 1911. It was entered by Nordyke and Marmon. There was no rule that you had to carry a riding mechanic, but just everybody did because there's 2 seats, and they thought, well, we can build a single-seat car with a streamlined body. When they showed up for practice, there were complaints that Ray Haroon, the driver, was out there running without a riding mechanic. Somebody to point out who was coming up on one side or the other. And what he did was to rig up this thing right here, and on the other side of it is a mirror. His idea was that he would be able to drive along and look up and see what was coming behind him. It is believed that, and we'll put all kinds of asterisks and disclaimers, it is believed that it is the first use of a rear view mirror on an automobile anywhere. The intent that it would be stripped down passenger cars soon went by the wayside, and racing cars got more and more specialized. What you had was very sophisticated, 100% thoroughbred racing cars. This exhibition has winning cars lined up according to the order in which they won. You can see how the designs changed. The early ones were just huge monsters, and by the 30s they were downsized quite a bit. They got quite specialized in the 1930s. This car, designed for all left-hand turns, the cockpit is over to the left, so the driver's practically hanging out the left-hand side.
The next big evolution for Indy cars came in the 1950s and 60s with the shift of the engine position to behind the driver's head. These rear-engine cars offered better control and handling, and they were soon all the rage.
You could take the rest of motorsports in the United States, and it wouldn't add up to one Indianapolis 500. For decades, there was nothing even close to it. In many people's mind, it was the only race of the year. There are now other events, and motorsports is huge. But even so, we believe that it is still arguably the best-known race in the world.
From the advancement of the cars to the high profile the sport enjoys today, there's no doubt about it, open-wheel racing owes a lot to Carl Fisher and the Indy 500. Hey, maybe I'm ready to ride that race, huh? Maybe not.
It's time for me to see if I've got what it takes to drive an open-wheel race car, so I've come to Mossport for the crash course. Gentlemen, start your lawsuits!
Your safety is our first and foremost concern the whole day.
Good, mine too.
Yeah, excellent. Get the car in first gear a couple places to feel it out. It's very loud. You're only separated by the engine by 1.5 feet of air and 1.5 inches of fiberglass and foam, which is your helmet.
Right, it's a foot from my head behind me,
Exactly, yes.
hurling out of control.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
Right, yes.
When you're getting faster out there, you'll be 170 kilometers an hour, roughly, at the braking point.
Really?
And you're braking down to about 90 kilometers an hour at the turn-in point.
Okay.
So you're having your speed in about 70 yards. Or meters, I guess, for the metric people.
Right.
Right?
Meters.
So you're having your speed in about 70 meters.
Right.
You start braking lightly at first,
Yeah.
then immediately get on the brake extremely hard.
Yep.
These are the things here today that keep yourself safe,
Right.
make you faster out there as well. Braking zone, balance zone, accelerate zone. That way you can, as you go through the corners, you can keep telling yourself back over and over as you go through each corner.
Balance,
Brake,
accelerate.
balance, accelerate.
Brake, balance, accelerate.
Right. Please keep them on the wheel at all times unless you're actually shifting up or down.
Okay.
Once you shift, right back to the wheel again though.
Right.
Don't take your hands off the wheel as you turn either. If you get yourself in a slide, you have no idea where neutral is or straight ahead is.
Okay.
So keep your
this
hands
way you
on the
always
wheel.
come back. Okay. Do you wet yourself? Would you?
I have never personally wet myself, no, but some people have, and some people, they have, you know, brought back their breakfast, whatever, as well, so.
You serious? I don't like vomiting, Don. And then I have to pay for the helmet.
Not if you vomit in it, no.
Oh, okay.
Only if you drop it.
Okay, good.
All right, Jeff, I think we're ready to go then.
Great.
Grab your equipment, grab your helmet and suit.
So what do I wear under my suit?
Less is best, believe it or not.
Besides making me look cool, my racing suit is designed to protect me from fire. And my shiny new helmet will protect my head in case I decide to crash Dawn's fancy car. Okay, so my goal here is to make it around the track without losing control of the car and hopefully without scoring the slowest lap time in the history of motorsport. All right, now, remember braking, balancing, accelerating. Woo! This kid is hot, yeah? Damn! Braking, balancing, kill someone out here. Accelerating it, okay! Braking. There we go, I missed it. It went up into neutral. I thought that was quiet there for a second. Would help if you could drive in a manual transition. That's right. There we go, there's some power. Braking. Balancing the car. Accelerating out of this corner. Oh, ho, 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 ho! Yeah! Woo-hoo! Nice! There we go. There's some third gear action. Okay, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. It's all coming back to me, Dawn! Now there's no stopping me. Now, I know I made it look easy out there, kids, but the truth is, I had a little help. The aerodynamic shape of the car helped me to stay in control. In fact, most of what we know about car aerodynamics can be traced back to one man. In the 1960s, a young race car builder by the name of Jim Hall made a discovery that changed open-wheel race cars forever.
I started out driving. Cars weren't as perfect as I'd like. And so I started thinking, well, how could I improve that? And from there, I got into building cars. I wanted to make a very high-performance car. The first car that we built had a big lift problem. At about 130 miles an hour, I could tell that the steering was so light, it wasn't steering the car anymore. So virtually the front wheels were off the ground. I turned it around. I said, well, why don't I make it something useful to me? In 1966, we designed this car. We mounted a wing high in clean air, and we put this load directly into the wheel hubs. We moved the radiators to the hip side so that we had control exactly what we wanted to do with the air in front. And I made a little wing out of, or a downforce producing duct, really, in the nose that produces front downforce. But then in order to change them both, I had to make this one adjustable along with that one. So there's a little door, really, in there that closes it off as the wing levels out and keeps the car balanced for both the straightaway and the corner.
Jim's early experiments were a turning point for car racing because they made it possible to control cars at much higher speeds. It works a little something like this. The wing attached to the front and the high wing at the back help control the flow of air across the car. Think of them like airplane wings, except upside down. So instead of creating lift to pull the car off the track, which would be bad, the wings create downforce that pushes the car onto the road, which is good. Jim's designs were quickly adopted by other race teams, but his innovations didn't end with the wings. His team began racing at Indy, and in 1980, he developed a brand new car with even more aerodynamics.
Well, we're looking at our 1980 Indy winner with Johnny Rutherford. This is our Chaparral 2K. The one thing that you can see here is this rubber skirt. It's plastic, but it's actually very low to the ground in the car's running conditions so that it makes a semi-seal on the side of the car. The low pressure area that produces a downforce is underneath the car. It's actually in this side pod. And we can look at it under here. You can see the shape of this venturi section created by the bottom of the car in this area. There's an entrance and a throat section and then a diffuser section which allows the air to go back and join the normal airflow. And this area here is a very low pressure area. It pulls the car down at 200 miles an hour, 3,000 pounds worth of downforce, if you can imagine. It's a lot of downforce, and it really makes a tremendous difference in the performance of these cars. Well, I think the thing that probably excited me the most was to think of something that worked better. And when I could do that, it was really satisfying.
Point of fact, Jim's aerodynamic designs work so well that these days during Champ Car street races like the one in Toronto, the manhole covers have to be welded down before the race to prevent the cars from sucking them up as they blast over them at high speed. You know, it's amazing how much science and design work go into perfecting a race car. And clearly in racing, some jobs are, shall we say, a little more glamorous than others. But no matter how much time and energy you put into perfecting and developing your race car, sooner or later you have to put it to the test. And sports fans, race day is coming up. I'm done with the cleaning. I gotta be honest with you. I don't really know what it is that I'm supposed to be doing here, but we all gotta start somewhere, right? Well, what if your dream is to become an open-wheel race car driver? Where do you start? Well, these days, you head down to the kart track.
Hey, Jeff.
These little open-wheel racers might not look as impressive as the big Champ cars, but don't you dare misjudge them. Kart racing is the proving ground for new race car drivers.
I've been driving karts for 8 years. This is my 7th year racing. I've always liked racing, so we had a neighbor who knew a guy who had a car for sale. The thing looked like it hadn't been run in years. The next year after that, we started racing. A lot of people think that car racing isn't really a sport, but it's a really physical sport. You need high endurance levels. And if you're not physically fit, you may pass out.
Today, Philip Wang and his dad are testing their kart to get it ready for this weekend's big race.
I'm basically the mechanic, and the job of the mechanic is both to ensure that the kart itself is safe and properly tuned, as well as a coach on the track. I tell them not to give up. As long as you finish the race, you've tried your best, and that's all I ask for, and I think that's what most parents ask for. When you're 2 inches off the ground and on a two-cycle, kart 80, 90 miles an hour is not unheard of. As a parent, of course you do worry. What you gain out of the sport, from our perspective, is a lot more than the bit of risk that we're taking. Go-kart racing, and I have to say four-cycle racing, teaches you how to drive. All the people that I know that have raced with us in a go-kart does extremely well in open-wheel car racing.
I could see myself making a living off maybe a Formula One or a Champ car or a big series. What I enjoy is just the adrenaline rush. And then when you're racing, you have 3 guys in front of you and 3 guys behind you. They're just all packed in, bumping around, and pushing along the straightaway. The adrenaline pumping through you is just awesome.
Yow! With skills like that, Philip could very well become the next Paul Tracy. Speaking of which, it's race day in Toronto and the entire Forsyth team is working hard and hoping to win the Toronto Grand Prix. Gentlemen, start your engines!
I think people think that you're not an athlete doing this. It's different than other sports. I know it's not like playing hockey. We don't go do a shift for 3 minutes and then sit on the bench for 6. There's no time for resting or relaxing. You have to be able to do that job for 2 hours straight.
While Tracy tears around the track passing the competition, Eric Zito is busy in the pits ensuring the car is running as smoothly as possible.
In very few situations in professional sports do you have a relationship that's as close as a race car driver and his engineer. The driver is depending on the engineer to not only put him out in a fast car, but a safe car. For me, being Paul's, race engineer, direct race engineer, my job is more to really interpret, kind of be the translator, He's gonna basically get an impression of what the car's doing on the track. Is it understeering, where, basically the car won't turn? Or is it oversteering, where the rear end wants to just come around on you? When he gives me that type of feedback, I have to translate what he tells me into engineering changes. Every decision, every action you make, we're gonna find out what happens in the next 10 minutes, the next, 20 minutes. It's, I think that's the real attraction to it. You can really see the cause and effect right away. Motor racing has really only occurred in the past century. And within a very short period of time, automobiles have basically gone from 20-mile-per-hour steam-powered contraptions to the point where we can easily make a car that exceeds the human capacity to drive them.
As the race progresses, Tracy and his teammate AJ Allmendinger have managed to pull into the lead.
I certainly would like to win because I think for the both of us being from here, it would mean the world to us.
Tracy battles hard and crosses the finish line. Second, right behind his Forsyth teammate.
At the end, in the final 5-lap sprint, I didn't have enough push to pass to really be offensive. It was a good race and good for Team Forsyth.
Clearly, open-wheel racing is not for the faint of heart. It's amazing how much science and technology goes into winning, but let's not forget the driver, who spends years honing the skills and conditioning needed to win races. It's about a lot more than just going fast. I've learned a lot, and I can say with certainty that this is no way to win our race. It's TV, what you expect?